King of the Pit Media, talking metal, talking punk, talking all sorts of nonsense. Potential to ruffle some feathers. I don't know what I'm going to title this video. I'm going to maybe argue and put forth, is this the best debut album of all time? Is this the most overlooked record as far as actual quality is concerned? As far as punk rock value is concerned, in a hardcore sense? As far as the depth of quality is concerned, for an initial attempt at putting some tunes together? And you might be thinking, what band are you talking about? You might have a few ideas. What record am I talking about? You might have a few ideas. But we're going to go on a little bit of a rant and a rave. We're definitely talking rock music tonight, people. As to whether you categorise this as metal or punk, you tell me, but there's definitely a essence of the spirit of both within this project. Shall we find out what I'm talking about? You ready? Tonight, I'm going to have to put some respect on Rage Against the Machine's self-titled record. And I'm going to have to propose to you that arguably this might be one of the best records of all time. Do I say it with chest? Not through the essence of my soul, but I say it with chest through recognition of patterns and belief that this just really is an incredible work of art. Do I know much about the political method of Rage? Not necessarily, because the idea of signing to a major label, and it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd. If you sign to that major, you do sell your soul. You do sell your creative integrity. You can be political, but you can't talk about a few things, so there is limitation. But is it a necessity to create and garner attraction? Yeah, but I also want to give another theory. There's a not even a philosophical, a psychological principle in relation to transference of energy. So let's say in ancient Rome they had colosseums, and as long as the people were distracted by the battles within the Colosseum and they were well fed, they called it, give them, what was it? Bread and summer. I don't even know what they called it. You tell me. Bread and circuses, they called it. Then the people aren't going to revolt. And it manifests today in the football stadiums and the alike. We as humans, we as men, have aggressive impulses. Biologically speaking, if you believe in evolutionary theory, we express ourselves in an aggressive means. Some may call it toxic, some may just call it natural. I believe if you can't observe oneself and pay attention and harness that energy in a productive means, and you allow it to run loose, yes, arguably it could be perceived as toxic, but we artificially project that energy elsewhere when we look at the tribalism, the tribal wars of the football teams and so forth. And so I think this particular act might not necessarily, and I'm going to go into the record, but I'm just speaking here as far as just like, how come Rage Against the Machine didn't, how come they signed Rage Against the Machine even though they were anti-authoritarian? How did they promote and push Rage Against the Machine to the youth? Wouldn't it be problematic? Wouldn't it be dangerous? No, because you think you're doing something by attending and watching Rage Against the Machine, such as these other political punk rock bands and stuff. Let them do their thing. Let them express themselves and express that energy and that anti-authoritarian expression via this safe space, as opposed to them being a independent cell and taking action or operating in an actual threatening manner against the state that is. Why not get Rage Against the Machine to harness the energy in this alchemic transmutation of anti-authoritarian energy expressed and transmuted into the wealth and fame and riches of Zach De La Rocha and Tom Morello and co, right? So that was a bit of food for thought. Whether you felt I was making nonsense at that point or not, irrelevant. Let's talk about this record, yeah? Incredibly heavy. Incredibly heavy. Incredibly heavy. Incredibly groovy. Incredibly coherent. It's a 4-piece act. I think on the next record they start introducing a little more guitar work when it comes to the solos and stuff, but here they don't go out of their way to show that they are more than what they are, and what they are is more than enough. So in the guitar solo sections, just the bass line plugging along, Tom Morello making his funny noises. We haven't introduced a rhythm guitar in the mix because there isn't one in the band. It would be unnecessary. So there is an organic and honest value in that I really appreciate. It opens up Bomb Track. If you like a dance, you can get your dance onto this act. You can get your toe tapping on. Beautiful. Just another bomb track. Initially, in my younger naive self, and when I say younger and naive, I'm talking a couple of years back, I did a listen through on King of the Pit TV of this album after a long time not listening to it. And I had as a disclaimer, if I am incorrect or I speak wrongly or I choose not to talk about the lyrical content and conceptual ideas in this record, don't point the finger, because I'm not historically educated, I'm not politically educated, I probably won't understand many of the references. But as I'm a little older now, having taken my dive into a couple of different books and educated myself on a few important moments, manufactured or not, that has swayed and directed the course of human history, or so we're told. A lot of what I hear on this record now is a bit more coherent and audacious in its own sense. Makes sense, it's bold, it's powerful, it's, radical in its own way. What do we have after Bomb Track? We've got Killing in the Name, self-explanatory. If you're not from England, we have a nonsense talent show over here called The X Factor. If not, we've got Britain's Got Talent so far, and it's like a talent competition. It's a singing competition. It's about who can the record label pick up and utilise this talent show as a marketing device to sell a Christmas #1 to the people, to the sheep, and then get rid of them, rinse them. Congratulations, you've won the competition, you're the best artist ever. You've not only signed the contract post-winning, but you've signed the contract during the competition, which means you have to stay stum and be creatively limited anyway, right? It's your brilliant first entry into the realm of corporate music where the artist is nothing. Even though it's you who plants the seed that blooms into the money tree, you're the one that's used and abused, whereas the hierarchy should be you employed top down. You should approach from an entrepreneurial manner as opposed to a, I need these people up above to help me. But the artist doesn't deal with the business. The artist is too busy being creative and says, it's not about the money, man, it's not about the money. And then when somebody who is about the money comes about, they get rinsed. They get their soul taken away from them and they get chucked to the side, shelved, can't put music out, sorry, you're contracted, you can't do it, goodbye, life's over. And if you do become successful in the pop industry, that's a story for another time, innit? As far as the spirituality and the soul is concerned. So, Killing in the Name, at one point, I can't remember what year it was an act. Now this is crazy actually, because this was an act of, this is, I'm going to go deep on this because people didn't acknowledge this and it's only just come to mind. People, right? Oh my God, it stresses me to even discuss this. Killing in the Name of was promoted as an alternate to the X Factor #1 as a rebellion. Let's make that the #1. F you, I won't do what you tell me. F you, you won't do. Little did the people know that Killing in the Name of, Rage Against the Machine, are signed to the major label. So it really goes to show the illusion of choice that is marketed before us. Red pill, blue pill, same hand, don't matter. Red party, blue party, Democrat, Republican, left or right, black or white, same hand, illusion of choice. They thought they were rebelling in getting Killing in the Name of as number one, whereas the umbrella company continues plugging the filth to the people via the profit they believe they are ridding of that system. I'm going to rebel against giving Sony Records all this music by giving Universal all this music. Now, I don't know which label companies there is as far as these two are concerned. Simon Cowell, who works for X Factor, I think he's associated with Sony Records, whereas I don't know if maybe Rager with Warner Music, I don't know, but there's 3 major labels: Sony, Warner and Universal, and that's all there is as far as mainstream is concerned. They own everything. Universal owns most of everything you've ever heard, right? So it's all a ploy. Now, with that being said, Killing in the Name of, good tune. That moment, the FU, I won't do it, tell you, it's a gas. It's a great moment. It's a great moment in music. It's the equivalent to Wonderwall as far as Rage is concerned, though. You know, I'm going to bypass that tune if I'm listening to the record. Heard it too much. Take the Power Back. Perfect. Any punk rock band on planet Earth wants to write a song like Take the Power Back. That might have been Bullet in the Head, actually. But there we go. We're going to skip Settle for Nothing. Who cares? Waste the time. Get that off of the album. Bullet in the Head, incredible. Incredible. Ignorant. I learned off of a great musician back when I was younger, and he was informing me and teaching me about music. He said the thing that makes Rage Against the Machine so heavy is that they stay just the tiniest little bit behind the beat. So as the drummer, the bassist or the guitarist, just a little behind the beat, which really thickens, really densifies the sound, where he really chunks it up, you know, really pulls you back a little bit, you know. Know Your Enemy, beautiful. The riffs are catchy, infectious. Rage have got a great way of utilising bridge sections and using dynamics. Breaks it down. Spoken word moments with the most rebellious attitude going. Phenomenal. Wake Up was one of the first songs I heard from Rage Against the Machine, and I think it's quite underrated tune. Wake Up has the same riff in the introduction as Opeth's Blackwater Park to some degree. So if you're a fan of Opeth, check that out. Fistful of Steel, who cares? Township Rebellion, who cares? Freedom, who cares? The last few songs, we could cut them off, to be honest. Same as always, I just did a video about Ride the Lightning, Metallica, and I said the same thing essentially, last 3 songs. But I need to put some respect on this record. It's a phenomenal record. To consider that as a debut from a band, when you listen to it, you think, whoa. How natural is this? How organic is this? How does an act do this as their debut record? Such creativity, such fluidity. No one sounds like Rage Against the Machine. You can say, oh, they sound like Black Sabbath. Oh, they sound like Metallica. He sounds like Hetfield. Oh, blah, blah, blah. No one sounds like Rage Against the Machine. Incredible, unique value whilst staying palatable and not so outside of the box it's irrelevant. Phenomenal. I gotta put some respect on that. And on that note, I'm signing out. Peace.